think it doesn't seem to be specified in the mock. I would 20, 15, 20 is probably a good wattage to have. It's just basically you're pedaling against almost nothing. 25 also, I mean, most people don't feel that. So I think 25 is fine, but you can change that if you need to. I would just, unless you have a compelling reason to change it, I think keeping it at 25 is fine.
Okay.
Then we'll click OK. And so this is zeroing flow. Basically, you just want to make sure that there's no air going into the mouthpiece. Baseline sampling. Wait for O2 and CO to destabilize. And then it says press OK to start testing. So what I would do at this point is, now that you have it set up, the subject should be on the bike, and then you should put the headgear on, and then they should put the mouthpiece in. And actually, this is where my lack of experience is going to show. I actually don't know if it immediately starts after I click OK. I don't know if this timer started. So then, I put the headgear back on. Wonderful. And then this is just gonna be like this. Okay. So you can click OK before putting the headgear on, okay? So at that screen where it said waiting for gases to O2 and CO to stabilize. So once the values look stable, just click OK on that and then put the headgear on and have the person start breathing. And you might have missed it, but once she started breathing through the mouthpiece, this came up. So basically when she starts breathing through it, you can see there's a countdown. And I actually forgot this part. No nose clip.
Yeah. Oh, so once you put the nose
Yeah.
clip.
So she was breathing through her nose,
Oh, so it
so it
detects
wasn't
it.
reading.
Okay, cool. That's good.
So one of the things that you should look out for in this first 4-minute baseline period is kind of like your last chance to turn back, right? If there's something wrong, you haven't actually started the test yet, you can reset and start over again. Once they start exercising, it's kind of like a banjo.
Yeah.
A few things to look out for in the baseline stage. You want to make sure that the RER is coming to a physiologic range, and I think it's just adjusting right now. Yeah. So because she was breathing, I mean, it was like zeroed, and then now it's adjusting. So resting RER should be around about 0.8. If the subject is really anxious and they're hyperventilating, this will be like 0.9, 1.0, maybe even higher. And the resting VO2 should be somewhere between 2 to 5. You also want to make sure that the VE is about 6 to 12, give or take. If it's higher than 12, they're probably hyperventilating. You'll probably also see that in the RER.
What is that, the VE, BT, what is that measure?
VE is ventilation in liters per
Gotcha.
minute. BTPS is just body temperature pressure, and I don't know what the S stands for. Okay.
And then we confirm in the beginning, okay, our heart rate is fine.
So at this point, you're just confirming RER is looks like it's in a good place, and she has about 1 minute and 15 of rest, and so just have them chill out. Now, when you start exercise, you're gonna see the timers change. And so basically when this comes all the way down to 0, then it's automatically going to go to exercise. So
Okay.
then you start to instruct them to pedal. When they start pedaling, you're going to see the rate of pedaling here on the screen under RPM. That RPM should be kept at 60 or up to 70. But basically, whether it's 60, 65, 70, they should be pedaling at a constant rate. That just helps it because we didn't do the blood pressure. So the other part that you need to do during the test is that you'll need to be taking blood pressure. I actually don't know when the mop says you should take the blood pressure. I think it's at the end of every stage.
Yeah.
And it may also have you do a resting blood pressure, like sitting or something. So
Yeah,
just
right, like-
follow the mop for when you need to do the blood pressure.
Clear.
I think you guys might have a worksheet or something to like write down the values
Yeah.
on.
I should leave it on, no?
Yeah, it should
Yeah.
say on.
That's fine.
Okay, so there's a place for blood pressure recordings, and you'll see that it's at the end of every stage. So there's rest, I think. This hasn't been modified yet. This is going to change because we're incorporating the 4 minutes into the time. So basically, every time you see blood pressure, it's in the last minute of every stage. You should take a blood pressure and record the values. And are you guys doing RPE?
Yes.
Okay. So then there's also fields for RPE. You'll have an RPE sign. You hold it up in front of the patient and they point at it. So just make sure that they know all these things before you start the test. And I just hit hold on the protocol right now because we were talking about these things. So you can do that if you need to. And then she has 13 seconds of rest left. Just gonna resume. Okay. So now we went to exercise. Katie's gonna start pedaling. She's gonna bring the RPM up to somewhere in the 60 to 70 range and just keep it constant. Shouldn't be above 70, shouldn't be below 60.
I think the mop said 60 to 100.
60 to 70.
Okay.
So the first exercise stage, one of the things you want to make sure is that the load is appropriate. So first exercise stage is 10 watts. You see, I don't know what the M stands for, bike load in watts is 10 here. And it should also be 10 over there on the screen. So you see the wattage right here on the screen, that should be 10, this should be 10.
Okay.
You also want to make sure that the VO2 is going up. If it's not doing anything, there's probably something's wrong.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that the VE is going up. If this is not doing anything, something's probably wrong. Oh, and are you guys doing? I forgot about this, but is it just that? I see. Yeah. So. What is this?
That's the
From what?
She's wearing a chest strap.
Oh, she is. Okay. So I've never used that chest strap before, but you guys already know about it. So that should be on. Blood pressure should be on. have 2 minutes left of this stage.
So I'm supposed to be looking at the heart rate every final 10 seconds.
You might notice that the values tend to fluctuate a little bit, and it'll do that. You do want to make sure that you do want to make sure that the subject is kind of like as calm as possible. They shouldn't have to be worrying about anything, because if they're doing that, the values might fluctuate.
Yeah.
So just make sure that they're not thinking about anything. They're not having to worry about anything.
Alright, the time.
She's at 1 minute and 4 seconds left.
Why is the time paused here? Oh,
This is
that's
absolute
annoying.
time. Yeah. So you should be watching this time over here. That's a good point. So you shouldn't be looking at that.
Okay.
In the last minute, you should take a blood pressure.
Is it when the last minute is done or the beginning of
Sometime in the last minute.
Oh,
Yeah.
I guess it's supposed to be at 8 minutes. It was like
It's just this protocol is weird.
Oh, okay.
So basically, in the last minute of every exercise stage, you're gonna get a blood pressure. You're also gonna hold up the RP sign and ask them to point. Which number best represents your current level of exertion. She says 7.
Oh wow. Chilling.
drinking water.
8 seconds of this exercise stage left. Right, so now the clock is restarted at 4
Okay,
minutes,
second stage,
exercise
yeah.
stage 2. Notice that the wattage should be going up to 25. Might take a moment to change. Yeah, so it's because of the averaging. It's going to take a couple of breaths to change. But notice on the bike that the wattage is now 25. So make sure that they all look good. Just also during the test, keep an eye on the pedal rate. If you see it start to fall or if you see it start to rise, just kind of gently remind the subject. Try to keep the pedal rate at 60 or wherever they set
Yeah.
it. This probably shouldn't happen with anyone because you guys are testing like normal subjects. You should have a signal that you establish beforehand with the subject if they start to become lightheaded or if
Okay.
they start having chest pressure or chest pain. In our lab, we use left hand. So if they raise their left hand and they wave at us, then that means we need to stop the test. So that's just a safety measure established beforehand. Of course, if they start going into VT and their heart rate is at 170, good idea to stop the test.
Rate of exertion. Pete. What is it?
Well, it wouldn't have been quite yet because you still have 2 minutes of the exercise stage left.
Oh, I was just going by that. I don't know.
Yeah, so I'll
Yeah.
explain that afterwards.
Oh, this doesn't have the rest of it, I see. Okay.
It doesn't have the rest. It's also that I did a hold.
Okay.
So
yeah.
this
Oh, so
is
it's
actually not all
okay, gotcha.
exercise time. But yes, if you didn't do any hold, then that would be
Okay.
the clock that you're
Yeah.
going on. But just in case that there is any discrepancy, I would
that?
really be looking at the time left in the stage. So Katie's at 61 RPM, which is good. The VO2 has gone up. RER doesn't look crazy. VE has gone up. Heart rate has gone up slightly. But Katie's a beast, so it's not
Yeah,
gone up
she's-
that much.
It's been stable at 88 for a while.
Last minute, so we should take blood pressure and we should take RPE.
RPE, relative exertion.
So I would do blood pressure first and then RPE.
Yeah.
Or one or the other first.
So it's
just
she's not talking. Yeah, gotcha. Alright, it's getting spicy.
Alright, yes. So in 20 seconds, we're going to go to a whopping 50 watts.
Yeah, you definitely need to be for this.
Alright, so again, stage 3, the bike now says 50 watts,
Mhm.
and you'll see this climb up to 50.
Okay.
If this were a test in my lab, I would probably be asking the subject, are you okay? You feeling alright?
Yeah.
You probably don't want to do that here because this is such a low workload that if any amount of indication or it can influence the VO2.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure that they're doing as little as possible.
Or maybe we can just do that or
Yeah.
yeah.
So just thumbs up,
Yeah.
and they know to wave their hand if
Mhm.
something feels completely wrong.
Yep. Then we can just hold the desk and
Mhm.
yeah, ask them what's going on.
If it's during a test, you should only, if they raise their hand, you say like, you need to stop,
Yeah.
because then you should stop the test.
Yeah, yeah.
You abort the test.
Yeah.
It's not like hold and restart.
Mhm.
You just, we have to discard the test.
Yeah.
So Katie's VO2 is going up, as you can see. RER still looks like it's in a good range. VE has gone up. We've
Heart rate's
broken
going
100
up,
BPM.
yeah.
We're making Katie work for it.
Ernie, that cauliflower pizza.
Just keep the RPM. You'll see the RPM here. It'll also be on the bike. Just make sure that it's staying, within a few RPM
Yeah.
of the starting value. But also, don't stress them out over
Yeah,
it,
yeah, yeah.
because VO2 is ultimately the most important. So VO2 is a little higher. It was in the previous stage. VE is a little higher in this previous stage. Heart rate again is a little higher. These are all consistent with a good test. Now we're just chilling. Of course. For our test, I typically have Med Graphics as a tech support line that you can call if something goes wrong. So, before the point at which exercise has already started and you can't turn back if something happens, you might want to have the tech support line ready in case you need to call them.
Yeah. For that blood pressure.
So we're at the final minute of this exercise stage. And then we show our RPE, 9. And then do remember that 50 watts is 4 minutes, but then 75 is only 2. So you should be doing the RPE and the blood pressure after the first minute.
Okay.
It's another reason why it may be a good idea to be looking at this countdown timer, because that will remind you.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether the stage 4 minutes or 2 minutes, when that reaches 1 minute, it's So it starts at 2, right? So when it reaches 1, you know that you have to take the blood pressure and do the RPE up. So again, look at the bike, it says 75 watts. You'll see this go to 75. Going up slightly, which is good. Heart rate is going up slightly. RER is still in a good range. I think for most of these people, the RER won't rise above like 0.92, given how submaximal the exercise will be. So we're at 1 minute now. Here is a situation.
Sorry.
Let's say that, oh no, Katie's nose clip fall off. It should be ready. Let's put it back on.
Heavy duty.
I actually kind of like the heavy duty more.
You got those from Med Graphics also?
Yep. Yeah, they're a little more expensive. We could actually just give you guys a few. Shouldn't have to be used too often. 2 seconds left. Alright, now you'll see that once she finishes stage 4, it'll just go back to stage 1.
Oh.
So at that point, you can just end test. Okay. So this is basically recovery, what she's doing now. But at this point, we don't need the data collection anymore. So
Just go back for 2 minutes.
Yes.
Okay.
And then just save data, review quick report. I don't think you need to. Actually, maybe.
Yeah.
Hit OK. Record added successfully. If it's not added successfully, you have a problem. And now we can take everything off. So Katie can take off her nose clip.
Don't rip your hair out.
Paper towels for when people come off out of their head.
Yep.
Like, could I get one now, maybe?
Yep.
Tonka. Sorry.
I don't know where you want
Minimal drool this time. Minimal drool.
All right, so Katie will do the 2-minute recovery, but let's say she's done with the 2-minute recovery. So then she can stop exercise and come off the bike. In the review section, so now the test is done. You want to take care of the subject first, so offer them water. Katie has her water. And I think you guys are going to offer them food.
I think after this test, we have to give them something.
Okay, yeah. Because
So
we're
you're gonna
fast.
offer them a few calories. The last thing that you'll need to do for the test is export the data. So you're going to go to text report. And here we're going to do an Excel export. So we went to text report, Excel export. I mean, it's pretty, it's kind of self-explanatory, so just, keep that in mind. But the final output needs to be Excel. You're going to name the file according to whatever the MOP says. I think it'll be like subject number, site number, whatever.
Yeah.
But importantly, we'll go to configuration. We've already programmed the variables in as, again, power is efficiency. The only thing you need to remember is that there's 2 averaging methods we need. We need the 20-second averaging. I think it's either, is it 1 minute averages? So again, it'll be in the mop, but you can change the averaging here. So there's 20-second averaging, and I believe it'll be 1 minute averages. So 1 minute averaging.
So we'll need two.
So select 20-second, OK, Excel export, save as.
Yep.
Go back to config, change to 1 minute, OK, Excel export, save as. And then those files you're gonna take off the machine, send them to the DCC, and whatever you need to do with it.
Okay.
And
All right.
that is the end of the test.
Perfect. Thank you so much.